So, here we are, back to play some games. I haven't really played a lot of video games in a while, so I thought I would play this game. It's called Phase Zero, and I've seen a bit of gameplay of it and some photos and obviously the Steam listing, and it got me really interesting. It's like a total copycat of classic Resident Evil game styles in HD resolution and in the graphical style that's reminiscent of classic PlayStation 1 titles with the benefits of modern hardware. Like basically it's running on higher resolution, the textures are higher resolution, but the polygon style and the material style and the animations and stuff and the UI design ideas and the gameplay are all inspired by mid to late 90s survival horror video games, especially Resident Evil. And as a big fan of these classic games, I thought, why not give this a try, and let's show the people as well as we venture through this game. So let's just start the game. But before I do that, let's just make a compliment. This is such a pretty looking UI, honestly. I'm just going to show you the options that it has in here. You can use analog controls, which is like modern controls, but since I guess having this off probably means it's using tank control. I hope I am okay with tank control games. I know a lot of people that didn't play the tank control era games when they were younger probably find difficulty with this. But for me it's normal. I can play both tank controls and analog controls just fine. But in the case there is a tank control option with fixed cameras, I prefer that option because this is what I grew up playing anyway. So I'll go with the default options and we'll start the game and let's go. Enough talking. I think I just talked too much. Flint Peak, 1994. Is this the name of the place? Okay, so we are in a hospital and suddenly we're bumped by zombies. We gotta get out. Interesting, it's actually using pre-rendered backgrounds, I think. The environments are not rendered in 3D, but rather overlaid over the screen to give the impression that the world is 3D, like classic Resident Evil, the buildings and everything in a 3D. And they put them in the game as if they are layers. There are collisions in the game, but we don't see them. The collisions are not visible. And this is how it's achieved in terms of, video game programming logic. So let's play the game now. Press forward to move. Okay. Obviously it is tank controls then. Yeah, obviously. Tank controls. You cannot turn around, but walking forward and backwards makes you walk forward or reverse when you're walking while holding the walls. Guess we now have to go through here, because I did watch some gameplay of it, so I know what to do. Go through the window. Yep, let's go. Honestly, it's so beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. Congratulations to the developer. Honestly, he nailed the look. It's like a modernized version of classic Resident Evil style game with classic graphic styles with the resolution of modern games, and higher quality model while still maintaining the classic style. So it's like it's a nice combination. Look at this menu. Look at the inventory. Examine. Wow, it's so familiar. It's so familiar. I cannot be more. I cannot be more honest with you. When you press circle, it opens the inventory. You can see your items here. You press R button, obviously you go to the next switch, and it's map, items, map, equipment, and items. So items are separate from equipment. That's an interesting approach. So that the usable items are only in here, and equipable items are in here. It's a good approach, actually. Maps, basically, and files. Here's the game manual, how to use the game. But I think we don't really need to read these. It's just for people who maybe are not familiar with this formula. So I think we already know our way. It's pretty cool. This game is designed in a way that it is very familiar for people who are familiar with classic Resident Evil games, and it also has the instructions for it in case you are not familiar with it, and it's totally noob friendly, if it's right to say. So that's very good, and you get also access to the settings here as well. Quicker start, and it's very cool. And she's fighting me now. To run, you basically press square. Difference here is you can walk while you're aiming, but I don't know how to basically raise the gun up. For example, if you wanna do a headshot like classic Resident Evil games, I guess you cannot do it here. So it's not exactly 100% the same, but very, very similar. Press X to search. Got shotgun ammo. Hold R1 and press circle, kind of like Resident Evil 3, to reload. It's a mix between Resident Evil style and Biocrisis, I guess. It's very similar to Resident Evil, but the fact that you can move and shoot is reminiscent of Biocrisis, kind of. Is it Biocrisis or Biocrisis? Anyway, press to interact. I like how they show an overlay over the items in the background as well to show you like where to go. And if you notice, up here above me, the fan is actually moving in the ceiling, so it's a 3D object actually. 3D modeled object, kind of like what Resident Evil sometimes does with objects in the rooms. If it wants an animated object like a fan in the ceiling. There's no water. The schooler's busted. Okay, you can move this thing. Move objects forward to move them. And I guess I should have not done that. Whoops! And the thing with... Oh my gosh, where did I fucking go? I should have not really gone there. What the hell? This thing was moving, wasn't it? It died? Did I even hit it? That was weird. X to interact. Looks like the elevator got stuck in the basement. Looks like a reader got stuck in the basement. Vending machine is blocking the way. It is clearly very similar to Resident Evil, but it has a modern feeling to it. But it is so similar to Resident Evil. It's like I don't know. It's like classic Resident Evil with higher resolution backgrounds. I wonder what's the size of the backgrounds actually. That's a good thing to ask. I think it's similar to the resolution used by Resident Evil 3, 640 by 520, was it? But yeah, it's so obviously inspired by Resident Evil. I mean, the shotgun model reminds me of the shotgun model from Resident Evil 2. I guess we have to go through here, but I just want to push this thing and I don't know how to do it. Can we pull it maybe? Pressing triangle opens the map. Circle the inventory. Square to run. X to examine, R to aim, and that's about it. Okay, if you press the left analog button, you basically change the movement mode if it's always running or walking first. Interesting. So I prefer it to be walking and pressing square to run. This camera, by the way, is following us for some reason. It's following me. Sheets are in a mess. Wonder what happened to the patient. Is that blood on the ground? Medical equipment looks expensive and broken. Must have happened during the fight. Medical equipment. Same thing. What the hell is here? Can we get out of here? Nope. We can just... So, it is tank control. I wonder what happens if we enable analog mode. Like, is it gonna use the analog stick instead of the directional buttons that I was using this whole time? I think that's what's gonna happen, probably. Off or modern? Yeah, basically this is what it does. It's using the analog now. It goes in the direction of where I am pushing the analog stick instead of walking the direction of the velocity according to the directional buttons. So directional buttons, you press forward, the character walks forward. You press back, the character walks back. You press left, turns left, you press right, he turns right. But analog stick, he just looks in the direction where you're pushing the analog stick. Let me try playing the game like this for some time. Should be interesting. See, it's annoying for me the way that when the camera changes, if I'm, for example, pushing backwards with the analog now and I want to push forward again, it turns awkwardly. And it doesn't happen with time controls. So sometimes when playing the games that actually I can hear a faint buzzing coming from this machine. When playing games that actually give me the options to change, I like to sometimes experiment for it. Sometimes, just to feel the difference. Certain situations are better with either of these controls, which is something I noticed as well. A poster advertising the hospital's new oncology wing services. Where are we supposed to go now anyway? I think here, right? Obviously. So now in order to aim, you push at the direction of where the enemy is standing. Interesting. Search using insurance plan card and the ladder here. There's a guy eligible because of blood. Eligible because of blood. As your employer, I hereby provide details of your insurance under the name eligible Flint Peak Docks. Unfortunately, I need to point out that this has been the third time your negligence caused a work-related accident. As such, eligible, terminate your contract with Flint Peak Docks. Please report to your workers' quarters at your earliest convenience to begin your relocation from the premises. Signed, Herbert Pierce. Interesting. Wonder what this means. He has a card with it. Using insurance plans and the letter here. Okay, so when you enable analog mode, you can still use the classic controls, and you can use the analog as well. It's interesting, you can use them both. I wonder if this was intentional or it's a bug, but it's actually cool. I think, therefore, there is no need for this to be here in the first place, I guess. Well, I guess extra, why not? Let's go to files. It's actually it shows in red when you have something new in your inventory. And here I have this key card which I can't be using here, and I can examine. Interesting. Coded key card. Coded as broken on access secure clearance quite few areas. So examine isn't really doing much, it just turns the item and zooms into it. You cannot really move the item around like in Resident Evil, early Resident Evil titles. So that's kind of a difference, but not really a huge issue for me, honestly. It was cool that in Resident Evil sometimes when you examine items you find something and then like stuck to them, or they turn into 2 items and stuff like that. But it's not really a necessary thing to have, honestly, because I think few Resident Evil titles didn't really have this feature. I think it was Outbreak and maybe I guess it was second Resident Evil as well, maybe. But I think they changed it from 3D into something like photos for Resident Evil 2 and 3 instead of 3D models. So here we have a 3D model, but we cannot really rotate it the way it is in Resident Evil 1 or Veronica or, Resident Evil Remake or Zero. But it is still a really good game, honestly. So far, not complaining. It's free. It's a demo. So now I want to figure out what we should be doing here. I think we use the key card. Which opens the door.
Hey! You there! I see you!
Hello?
Listen, the elevator is stuck. You need to use the stairs.
What? Who are you?
I'm an employee here. I'm trapped in the basement.
What is going on here?
Try to reach the exit. I'll see you there.
Wait!
Exit? How can you tell me try to reach the exit and you don't even tell me where it is? No, I guess we'll spend the entire game just looking for the exit. Classic Resident Evil. Interesting. This is how you heal? So no herbs or recovery items, but instead you use first aid kits, like that. Shouldn't there be an emergency podcast? That's actually a good question, but maybe this is a local outbreak contained in this building. Signs of a struggle or fight break down here. Get off me! No. Oh my gosh, I don't have fucking balls. Ah! Get off me! Seems like they are sleeping. Especially. Miracle. Agnes Hopkins, 68, suffered from lymphoma and had been in a coma for years. In search of new treatment options, she was transferred to the newly added oncology wing at Flint Peak Hospital, where she might miraculously woke up on the morning of December 12th. I didn't know where I was. All I knew was how good I felt, said Hopkins. Let's actually read it in a voice that actually sounds like Agnes. Okay, someone called Agnes Hopkins. I didn't know where I was. All I knew was how good I felt. It's something like that. There are now 7 patients who have miraculously come out of a coma in the last 2 weeks. Wow. So something like a miracle drug brought people back from the coma all at once at the same time, and around 7 people like woke up. What are the odds this actually turned them into zombies later? So many empty hospital beds, it freaks me out. I know, right? Something's up. Oh no. Zombies are gonna come to me. Only bullets. This is so unfair. So resources are scarce in this game. It's like intentional, obviously. But wow. I think even Code Veronica had more mercy. Seriously, the snowfall is starting to get serious. I need to get out of here. Won't open. Of course. I was using analog. See? This is the thing that happens when the angles change when you're using analog. And this is like a common problem as well in games like Haunting Ground, for example. It's locked. To open during an emergency, retrieve a shutter crank from the janitor. Where is the janitor? Automatic sliding doors, won't move. Got the map. Locked, of course. Locked from the other side. Waiting for me, boys. Won't budge. Everything is locked in this place. Why did I push this like that? Now how can I just bring it back or something? This is what I'm wondering, you know? Is this like a possible thing to push these things back? When I get stuck in the basement, stuck in the same place. Go to the toilet. Look at our reflection. Small medkit with essentials for quick first aid. Oh, I guess you do get first aid as an item as well. Interesting. Different methods. Kind of like the green herbs in Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. Sometimes they are on the ground and you can just use them. Sometimes you can pick them up, I guess. It's quite similar. Yeah. Obviously, I think we'll find bullets here, and we did. Really interesting concept, interesting game. I do wish the best for the developer of this game, because you know, he's creating something here that is kind of like a nostalgia trip, a throwback at old survival horror for people that love this era of video games. I myself was born around the same time that this era was happening, but I got to catch up to these games when I had a PlayStation Portable. I got to catch up to them again because when I had a PlayStation 1, I didn't get to explore these games. So it was maybe sort of like, no, it's too scary or stuff like that, you know. And personally, I wanted to have access to them, but the only thing I had was Resident Evil Survivor because my brother was a pansy. He was too scared from this series, so we couldn't have really other Resident Evil games or Silent Hill or stuff like that. So I got to re-explore them again when I had a PSP by playing PS1 games on the PSP, and I went through a lot of these classics. And ever since there, I moved to playing them on PC and got into the modding community and stuff like that, and contributed some mods, been through some ridiculous stuff in the community, like especially the hunt for Resident Evil 1.5. And now we are all into this modern realism era. Everything is looking so photorealistic, which is impressive and amazing, and really a lot of eye candy. But some people will complain that games are now becoming stale and there's not much focus on the gameplay more than there is on the graphics, but I don't think this is true for all games. You can see the Metal Gear Delta Snake Eater, for example, looks amazing. Grand Theft Auto 6 looks amazing. There's a lot of things that are changing in games, in their techniques and the gameplay as well. Constantly there are different evolutions, you know. And it's good to have different kinds of remakes, you know, the kind of Silent Hill 2, where it's a remake of the original game, but slightly different in some ways, and Resident Evil, which is like so familiar yet so different at the same time. You got something like Resident Evil 3 Remake, which is a step down from Resident Evil 2 Remake. Like, when Resident Evil 2 Remake came out, we were like complaining because some things were missing. But when the third remake of the third came out, we were like, Resident Evil 2 Remake is a masterpiece, and actually it is. But we were complaining about the lack of a proper B scenario mostly. And sound like extreme battle, you know. But besides that, there wasn't much wrong with it. The Resident Evil 3 remake, there's just so much wrong in that. So much. Resident Evil 4 remake was great, and now we have something like Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is exactly a replica of the original game on a new engine with photorealistic graphics on the Unreal Engine 5 and modernized gameplays, which is more similar to Metal Gear Solid V, which is also, in my opinion, an interesting take on a remake. And honestly, I like what Konami's doing. But amidst all of this, you know, we are getting so lost in the world of photorealism, and we forgot the charm that the original games had, or are forgetting the charm the original games had. So it's kind of refreshing to see a game that goes back to that style in this era of modern gaming. It's quite refreshing, actually, and I think we need more developers to maybe experiment with certain ideas that were in older games, whether it's gameplay related or graphics or style, you know, or all of them together, just to give us something different every once in a while, because games are getting so realistic and in a way that it feels like you are playing a movie, which is brilliant and great at the same time, but it makes you realize how different it is and how far we have come to graphics we grew up with and we thought it was the peak at the time. And it's fun to switch between them, actually. I've never had a problem playing games from any era, even the NES and SNES. But honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't go older than that. Maybe DOS games, but that was about it. And I really still appreciate both. I don't think the old games are ugly or anything like that. Although I did know some people that were that had this idea of older games. And I think the more younger the generation is, the more you realize that they don't really understand the value of classic games, especially when it comes to survival horror. It's a nice change, honestly. So now my shotgun is stuck. What was the point of the shotgun anyway? Oh, I had bullets. I did get bullets, that's true. Hand is too strong. I can't pull anything off this machine. Okay. This is all the inside. I don't really want to go though. I'm not sure. Don't touch me, dirtbag. Danger. I don't know, I just get stuck in my mind sometimes and just start having thoughts, brainstorming. Now we've rocked everything that we lost. We're going to need this actually. Nice, the weapons they do get holstered as well if you're not using them. Interesting. You can load the ammo this way. Interesting. Interesting. Instead of combine, you just press load and it gets loaded into the weapon. Fair point. Don't lie. Luckily, the same keycard works. Lock the one open until the procedure is done. Okay. Calibrating the X-ray machine to properly calibrate the device, the technician must pay attention to three elements. Contrast, QVB, allows for an image that differentiates between tissues. Higher value reduce the image contrast. If the value is too high, the final image may appear scattered. Saturation, NA. This value measures how much radiation is detected by the sensor. If the value is too low, the image will be noisy. If the value is too high, the image may become oversaturated. Ensures a penetration depth. Ensures a clear image of the desired tissue depth. If the value is too low, it won't penetrate soft tissue. If the value is too high, it won't capture any tissue. Penetration depth is determined by the product of KVB and NA values. Ensure that the patient does not receive excessive radiation exposure. Okay. Image corrupted. Please calibrate the X-ray emission. Okay. Let's read the document again, guys. Higher values reduce the image contrast. If the value is too high, the final image may appear scattered. If the value is too low, the image will be noisy. If the value is too high, the image may become oversaturated. Not too high, not too low. Interesting. First one was the contrast, I believe, so this is related to contrast. Aha! Foreign body detected. What the hell is that? Is this thing the green thing? Name Logan Jones. Occupation hospital janitor. Location no found unconscious and several growths on head and torso. Ultrasound inconclusive. Proceed to X-ray as a metal foreign object was discovered prior to the MRI procedure. Interesting. Even the music is trying to be like Resident Evil. It's like highly advanced, highly modded Resident Evil. It feels like that, honestly. I know it's probably not as clearly made from scratch, but it feels like that because of how authentic it is. All the while, whilst maintaining its own style. He's trying to. Headshot. We can go here. Oh, that was where I took that thing. We can bypass them? Oh no, they still grab you. That sucks. And I died. But thankfully it doesn't take you all the way to the beginning. Maybe because the game is not exactly perfect in any way, but it is completely playable. Completely playable. It's actually impressive. Isn't that enough, guys? Come on. Let's go here. Okay. 4. Zombies. I like how they all get pushed because they're not really exactly pushed in a satisfying way. Or maybe it's just more modernized. That's it. Let me go! Okay. Ouch. That actually hurts my feelings. If I ignore them, they get me anyway. Any bullets, any ammo? Holy crap. There is a metal object there. Maybe I should click there because I didn't remember it. Answer yes. And I guess it worked. Here. It's even more gross that it is actually still moving. Which is not something that you would see very often in classic real games. They would usually avoid placing animated 3D objects as much as they could. Like enemies and characters are, some objects in the scene are, but they try to save up video memory, I guess, so that they can have nicer looking characters and nicer looking enemies. And since we are now not really limited by older hardware, I guess this is possible in new hardware. Just adds more depth to it. And we have a bunch of zombies moving around outside. The thing with this game is that the zombies' positions do not reset. In classic real games they reset, which probably helps you a lot in situations where you would rather probably get stuck like I am right now. And I'm gonna die. Yeah, this is one criticism I would probably have if I was gonna have anything about this demo so far. That enemy positions probably would be better if they would reset, or at least if there was an option in settings to turn something like that on. Get out of my way. Okay, guys. That's around. Obviously we did explore this place. doors obviously load faster. There is no door loading animation, you know. So obviously this is a bit of a modern hardware. On the PlayStation 1 they had to add that door sequence because the loading of data was actually slow on the CDs that were used at the time. So that was to compensate for that. Meanwhile here it just takes 1 second to switch to the next room. And we got the crank now, we can use it in here. That's it. First floor reception. Just 8. The clock ticking is making me feel at ease somehow. Since this is like a replica of the safe or save room. Not safe. But the save function, I guess it's not implemented in this version because it's demo probably. But this just feels like the save room because of the music and the vibe. Maybe you save using the telephone in the final version? Not sure. Let's just in case explore if there's any other room I actually know. What the? What is this monstrosity? Indeed. What is it?
Still there?
Unfortunately. I'm Alex, by the way.
I'm here, Alex. I made it to the reception.
Can you get to the exit?
No, it was blocked.
There must be a way around. Call me if you need anything.
Okay. It's no time to lie down, although I think I should. Is this where we would maybe save in the final game? I don't know. I'm just wondering. This was set for the snow. This keycard works in so many places. But what's the point? Everything is there. What would that be?
Hey, Alex. You work here, right? You know any codes?
Codes?
There's a keypad in the staff room. I need the code.
It's 3-8.
3-8 what?
3-8.
You're breaking up.
Look for the staff photo. Look at staff photo.
Damn! I said 3-8 and something about a staff photo.
3891. Yeah, the one in the photo. 3891. Nice, we got our clothes. Rescue. There's a hidden door. Oh! She's back. Nice reference. So let's go back for now. Is there anything else in here? No. So we do have to go through here. Just plays once, like for the nostalgia. That thing again. Things are getting interesting. It's the same thing. Should we go here? Is this a good idea? What about this side? It's just for show. So we do really have to get through here, probably. Oh, what is that? This is making my body itch. More of this stuff. This is the elevator that was stuck. Isn't this the same? Yeah, the other side that was blocked. Change of sealed lock has finally been opened. Sealed for the past 100 years. It has been regarded as local curiosity. Father Richard Penwell informs the congregation that due to the ongoing work in the church, daily mass will be held at 6 p.m. only. The newspaper reported facts.
Help me out. What? Wait. You can't just leave me here.
He really did just leave him? What the hell? Maybe I want to save him. What? What? Why would you leave the guy who helped you find the exit behind? What the hell? He helped you literally so you can actually help him, and you just didn't even return the favor? That's a weird thing for a protagonist to do. weird guy. This character is like, he's like just suddenly felt, that's it, I'm the main protagonist now in this zombie apocalypse. So I don't give a shit about leaving anyone behind. No, you actually do give a shit. But holy shit, the whole city actually transformed now. What the hell? Holy crap, no. You got to be kidding me. Really? What the hell? Come and see. That was cool. Okay. I'm impressed. I like how the ending is just like you just walk into this endless horde and it eventually zooms out to a point where you don't even know where you're walking anymore. Whether they're biting you or not. It just, seamlessly transitions into this. That was a cool ending. That was about it. That was the end of phase 0. Interesting. Obviously, I am anticipating this game. I'll probably add it to my wish list. So it's something I'm looking forward to play, I guess. Eventually, the full version of. Cool concept. Lots of nostalgia. Modernized. I would call it probably modernized nostalgia. Something like that. It's a modernized nostalgia trip. It's like instead of going and playing the old games on emulator or older versions or broken remasters, it's like you play a game that is similar to those games, but it's made for today's systems, if that makes any sense. And I am totally supportive of projects like this, so I wish the developer very luck. And as always, guys, you don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe, you don't have to share this video, but if you would like to do those things, obviously it's up to you, it's your choice. You make your own choices. But that was it for today, I guess. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.